You got divorced.
I did.
Why'd you get divorced?
Okay, so this is the one thing I don't talk about a lot, and here's why. I have a daughter, she's 9, and my parents divorced when I was little. They didn't like each other at all, and that was really hurtful and hard for me as a kid and probably my siblings. And so, yeah, it was it the perfect marriage? No, they never are.
Just grew apart.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Had different ideas.
We got married very quickly. We didn't know each other well, to be honest. We didn't know each other well, and the compatibility was lacking, and we gave it 10 years. We gave it 10 years, and I really
And
did
had a beautiful
try.
daughter.
And we had a beautiful daughter. Her dad is a great father. He's a great father. He'll always be an amazing father to her, and that's all she should ever know. So she should never have to hear anything about her father from me.
I love that.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll look at several women who decided to get divorced. It seems the divorce didn't turn out the way they expected. We'll see how one regrets it and says she loves her ex-husband, even though she was the one who asked for the divorce. These are the kind of women who lack emotional responsibility and don't take accountability for their actions, because responsibility is kryptonite for women. I want you to smash that like button and join the channel by subscribing. Add a bit of your support to the movement. That's the only contribution we ask for, brother. Share your experiences in the comments to guide other men. Without further ado, let's get started.
The court notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him. I filed for the divorce. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying? Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying or whatever. I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either, but I don't want a divorce. I still am very much in love with my husband.
They say karma is AB*TCH. You ask for a divorce, take action, and when the outcome arrives, it bothers you. Now you have what you wanted, your loneliness. Here's another classic example of a woman who asks for a divorce but doesn't know what she wants afterward. First, she leaves, then complains about being alone and still in love. This is typical. They make impulsive, emotional decisions, and when reality hits, the tears and regret follow. She even admits it herself, I asked for the divorce, but I still love him. This is an example of the lack of emotional responsibility many women display. If she asked for the divorce, it's because she didn't value what she had at the time. And now that she's alone, she's starting to realize her mistake. This makes two things clear to me. Either she can't replace what her husband did for her, or she realized the options she thought she'd have after leaving him never existed. Life doesn't have an eraser to undo the decisions you make, and now she's on the wall. Let me tell you, the wall doesn't forgive.
Yesterday I told my husband I wanted to be separated from him, and people keep saying sorry, and I'm only crying right now because that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I truly thought I was going to be with him forever, and I still love him so much, and I wanted it to be different, but it's not. It's okay to be upset. This is 17 years of my life we're talking about. Somebody I shared children with, who I built a life with. So yeah, say sorry, but also say congratulations for also being really fucking strong, because that was not easy.
Stop it. Get some help.
Seeking attention through victimhood. 17 years of marriage with children, destroyed to prove what? That you're a strong and independent woman? This seems less like something painful and more like a trend nowadays. What are her reasons? Who knows? She'll probably say he neglected her, that she deserves to be happy, or that there was a lack of compatibility. There's always some weak excuse for these decisions because she simply doesn't want to take responsibility for her marriage. As you all know, responsibility is kryptonite for women. Here's the reality. She wasn't strong enough to endure the relationship they built together, and now she's looking for emotional validation for breaking something that took nearly 2 decades to create. She expects people to support her decision when she could have sought a solution to stay married. Brothers, the wall keeps collecting victims.
That was probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
This woman told her husband that she wanted a separation from him after being married to him for 17 years. Now, she didn't go into great detail about what happened, but we should all know and understand that he was incapable of loving her with his entire heart. Without words, we know she tried everything because her tears said it all. There was frustration in her tears. There was love in those tears. There was strength in those tears. There was bravery in those tears. So I'd like to say to this woman, congratulations. It takes a strong woman to ask for a separation after 17 years of marriage. You thought you were marrying a life partner who's going to love you wholeheartedly in return. We know you didn't come to this decision easily and that you struggled with it for years. You only get one chance at life and you can't waste it on someone who's not going to desire you and treat you like the special person you are. We are proud of you. We know you didn't arrive at this decision easily.
Oh, hell no!
There was an intention to seek attention in those tears because she blames the man for not loving her when she was the one who asked for the divorce. Who was the one leaving the relationship? Who was the one breaking their vows? You can't blame the man, not even when they decide to leave him. If he didn't cheat, if he fulfilled his responsibilities as a man, if he was a good man and she leaves him, why should the blame fall on him? It's advice like this that validates every decision women make, even when many of them make decisions, like in the second video, emotionally. It's only after those decisions hit them hard that they reflect and realize they've ruined their marriage. Now, she presents herself as strong, as brave for making the decision to leave. But here's the truth. She probably wasn't satisfied because she expected everything to revolve around her. Instead of focusing on building with her husband, she focused on what she wasn't receiving. And those tears, which stand out so much, are just a reflection of her frustration at not getting what she wanted.
Well, guys, I think you finally succeeded. I think I have lost the absolute last shred of hope I had that there's still good men left in the world. Just went on a date. I thought it was going well. Talked nonstop, not me, back and forth, for over an hour. And then all of a sudden he had to take a call from a client. And he never fucking came back. And I got stuck with a $90 tab for his beers and pizza. So, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. 4B movement all the fucking way from here on out. You guys suck.
Her pain is having to pay for a free dinner. Welcome to the world of men. Now she knows what it's like to be on the other side. When you take a woman to an expensive place and she's more focused on taking photos for her Instagram, where everything appears except the one who paid. She just experienced what hundreds of men feel. At least he gave her good conversation. Hold on to that. What's ridiculous is this new 4B movement, which is something like MGDOW but for women. I'll talk about that soon. I don't know what was discussed at that dinner or how the date went, but women on the wall will need to learn how to play the game because it's not as easy as it used to be. You all destroyed chivalry, and now you're constantly talking about being strong and independent. But this doesn't work so well when you're a divorced woman trying to get back out there. So don't take it too personally. It's just $90, the least you can do for a man.
If you're contemplating getting divorced, here's something to think about. If you purely want to get divorced because you are unhappy, which is a very good reason, by the way, to get divorced, still think about this. On average, studies show that 5 years post-divorce, people's happiness is back to where they were in marriage, meaning they are unhappy again. The happiness rises just after divorce because finally you're free. Finally, this person is out of your life. Finally, you can live the life you've always wanted to live, except often we don't, because there's so much baggage that we carry around with us that didn't just change because we got rid of the person that was in our lives. Maybe our unhappiness comes from our career. Maybe our unhappiness comes from society telling us we need to be great mothers and motherhood itself is sucking us dry. Maybe unhappiness comes from many other factors, but unless we address that unhappiness component, happiness will not rise post-divorce. You may want to ask yourself, is happiness truly your goal? And if it is, can that be achieved by working on yourself right now and working through what makes you happy with your partner? Because studies also show if you stick with the marriage and work on it, both of you, you actually increase your happiness within the next 5 years. So you could be happier in your marriage than divorced. Just some thoughts.
I'll agree with you that much of their unhappiness comes from within themselves. If you're considering divorce just because you're not happy, you're seeing things in a superficial way. Happiness is a fleeting state, and if you think divorce will solve all your problems, you're ignoring the fact that life remains hard no matter who you're with. This idea that once they leave their man, they'll find a new love and live happily ever after, well, it doesn't work like that. This isn't a Disney movie. Sure, you got rid of the burden of taking care of your husband. Congratulations. But don't forget that your husband also got rid of the burden of taking care of you. That means no covering your expenses, no fixing things around the house, no taking care of you when you're sick, no helping with the kids when they're with you, no giving you money to settle debts. This is what many forget. I'm happy, I'm leaving, life is good. Until the bills start rolling in, until they have to work twice as hard to maintain the lifestyle their husband provided, then they become unhappy again. Many of them were just house sitters, never really having to work for anything. When they no longer have their beta provider covering everything, they realize they're broke. It's no coincidence that many women who divorce lose everything they gained from the divorce within 5 years. Funny enough, it's around those same 5 years that they become unhappy again. Like I said, karma is a dish best served cold.
Divorce is harder on men. People do not think that divorce is harder on men because men move on quicker. But what they don't realize is that these men are grieving. They don't have a social network to talk to and to be supportive of them, so they're moving on. Men bottle up their emotions, and that results in depression and anxiety. Generally, they don't have a lot of people to talk to about this stuff, and they're not able to really express themselves and talk about the terrible feelings that they have. Generally, men's health declines. Many men self-medicate, turn to alcohol and drugs because they don't have a support system. And then they rush into new relationships because they don't want to be alone. Now, not only are they grieving over one bad relationship, now they have 2 bad relationships. And then there's the kids that they feel that they've lost. Their time sharing, their visitation is not always 50%, and they feel that they've lost touch with their children.
As I always say, respect to every man who gets back up after a disastrous divorce. It's not easy to lose everything and have to start over, older and more tired. It's true that many fall into depression, which is why I always tell you to focus on yourself. Take a day selfishly for yourself to disconnect and get out of the house. I mentioned in another video not to stay playing video games, and some were upset by it. But let me tell you, I've seen friends who use them as an escape, and it becomes an addiction, leaving them stuck at home. I prefer that you get out of your comfort zone, give your mind a chance to rest from the problems. But like I always say, this is just my opinion, and I respect everyone else's. What I do say, though, is that after a divorce, the only contact you should have with your ex-wife, if you have kids, is for the children's sake, nothing more. Don't be crying or showing her you're a mess. Don't give her that satisfaction. If there are no kids involved, then go no contact. Hit the gym, become a better person, and above all, focus on fixing your finances. Avoid falling into a spiral of self-destruction. It's like advice I once heard from a boss to a coworker. I know you're going through something tough, but tell me, will losing your job make your situation better? That snapped my colleague back into focus. Like I said, we don't have an eraser to change the past, but you can't let your past ruin your present. It's your responsibility to build it. Focus on yourselves, brothers. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Have you gone through a divorce? How did you overcome it? Have you ever seen a woman divorce and years later ruin herself because of that decision? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.